world. This is Carole from Viva Vacation. And tonight we're going to be talking about Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. I am joined tonight by two lovely ladies. I'm joined by Tania and Josee, who is one of Viva's travel agents. And I'm also joined by a friend of Tania and I, Josee Rivet. Hi, Josee. Hi, Tania.
Hello.
So I've invited Tania and Josee tonight for our discussion because they have recently done a cruise on Royal Caribbean, specifically one of the Oasis class ships. For those of you who might not know, Royal does have 6 different class of ships. And as it progresses in years, of course, they have gotten bigger and bigger. And the most recent ones are actually the biggest ships, cruise ships that you'll find at sea. They are known, Royal, for being a giant kids' playground at sea, really. They have so many things to do on board the ship. I will name a few things, but keep in mind that this is just a little list. They have water slides and water parks. They have a flow rider, which is basically a simulator for surfing. They have rock climbing, ice skating rinks. Some of them have bumper cars with that changes over into a roller skating rink. They have their famous Central Park inside the ship, and they have all kinds of activities for the kids, the younger kids, and also the kids at heart. So a lot of things that you can do on a Royal Caribbean ship, no matter the age. So Tania and Josee, maybe we can start by you guys telling me when you were on Royal's cruise line and which ship you were on.
Well, for me, it was, I believe, one of our last cruise. It was in April of this year, so a few months ago. And we were on the Harmony of the Seas, so quite a big ship in part of the Oasis class. So.
And where was that leaving from?
Miami.
Okay. What about you, Josee?
And we cruised last March on Wonder of the Sea, which was Royal Caribbean's newest ship, and I had booked it a year in advance, actually.
Good girl.
As soon as my husband said yes, it was booked.
Good girl. And that one leaves from Port Canaveral, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So can I ask, what made you choose this ship in particular and this cruise line, I guess, for your families?
Interesting. Like for us, it was a lot about the itinerary. I love, trying different places to visit, but obviously that it had so much stuff to do. So we did on this cruise, we were with our family, actually with other family members also. I have 3 kids, so we need to keep them busy even on vacation. So just everything that the Harmony of the Seas was able to bring to us. And really, it was also dates, and it just worked out. So I'm very a believer of trying anything once. I had been on one Royal Caribbean. It was a smaller ship, so I was excited actually to try a big ship. I think that's actually the biggest that we've been on.
Okay. What about you, Josee?
For us, we had cruised several times, but it was actually the first time cruising with our son. So I was really looking for a kind of kid family cruise ship, and this seemed to fit the bill, and not disappointed. It was amazing.
So maybe let's talk about since you have 3 boys, Tania, and you have 1, Josee. Maybe talk to the listeners about their experience. So did they go to camp? What are the activities that they like the most, I guess?
So interesting, because I know our differences or our experiences are probably different, Josee and I. As I mentioned, I have 3 boys. They're aged 10 to 15. Our kids actually do not really go to kids club.
Really?
We tried the first few times or encouraged them to do so. Sometimes they'll go just to kind of get out of the sun and play electronics or video games, but not really to go on for a few hours and kind of give us a little bit of mom and dad time, I guess. But they are a little bit older, and we're like okay with that. So they didn't really experience that, and we're definitely okay with that. But they definitely took advantage of everything else that the ship had. Lots of slides. Our oldest son did a lot of the flow rider. So kind of waiting in line and trying it multiple times, even though he, kept falling. But
it's
so
hard.
It's very hard. I haven't tried it, so I don't know. But yeah, so a lot of just whatever the ship had to offer, they were like really never bored. And even like some things we don't think of or look for, but like just ping pong tables or pool tables that they have, and just the typical person doesn't really have at home, and they just spend their days of just playing around and
Having
doing
fun.
different things.
Yeah,
And that's
cool.
what we want.
So your son Josee is younger. Did he go to camp?
Yes, so he's 7, just finished grade 1, and I remember you were kind of pushing, or I know your son did a lot of the kids club, so I had never experienced that, so I wasn't sure if he was going to like it or if we were going to send him. So they do recommend you register them like the first day you're on ship, so then you have no problem the rest of the week. And he absolutely loved it. He asked every morning to go when we were more like we're getting off the ship to visit an island.
As a family.
So we build in this little routine where after lunch, it opens again at 2. So from like 2 to 4:30, everybody had their fun time individually.
Cool. That's great.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was perfect. And they do sports. They do it's amazing. And they have it, from like 3 to 5, 6 to 8, even up to like teens, people we met. Their kids love the teen club. It's so well organized.
Yeah, I remember my son is quite shy, so I was actually a bit surprised that he actually went, but he would look forward to that camp every time we cruised. And I think the highlight was getting on board, and they give you the kids every day and he would have a highlighter, and he would highlight all the activities he wanted to attend. He did some cool stuff at those camps. So if your kid is interested, it's a great opportunity. They get to meet people too from all over.
Yeah,
all
my
over.
son didn't speak that much English, but by the end of the week,
He was fluent.
And the fact that he's an only child
gets
him to play with other kids when we travel. So it was a big plus for us.
Yeah, I think you hit it on cue there. My son is obviously an only child as well, and I think being an only child, you love being around other kids like
Maybe
that.
that's the problem with my kids.
Well, they have people to play with all the time.
Or fight, but yes.
Yeah, or fight, yes. So one of the questions I had was that Royal has a private island called Coco Cay, and they do market some of their cruises with the perfect day in Coco Cay. And that's because that island, I've never been, not yet, but I've been to a lot of private islands. This one seems extremely kid-focused, family-focused, and with a lot of things to do similar to their cruise ships. So did both your cruises have that day?
Yeah,
yes.
we did.
Mm-hmm. So Tania, I think you had mentioned that you actually, because there is a fee you have to pay for the water slides.
For water slides specifically.
Okay.
Yes. So obviously anyone that wants to go out and visit can. You just have access to different things. Overall, I've also been on another private island with another cruise ship. But I would say definitely Royal Caribbean, a lovely, lovely place. And people were friendly. There's so much, stuff to do. And a lot of it is divided in themes, or like, do you want to go to the beach side or snorkel or, but we had kind of like surprised or gifted, I guess, the kids with the water slide or water park, package. So it's basically if anyone is, local, it's like a Magic Mountain on on
steroids,
kind of, yes. They really they spent the day there. There's all sorts of different slides. Some very scary to not a lot. And I guess maybe that's another age range thing that you would really want to verify. Maybe Josee can speak to that. But again, my kids are a little bit older, so they can kind of free roam around also. But yeah, like lots of slides, some with the like more the mats. I went on some I did not go on, but they really like spent the day there. I mean, just at the end, I think just to explore a little bit more, then we went just before we went back on the ship, like to a few hours like snorkeling, and actually the kids loved that too. So I think regardless if either you can basically afford it or you want to pay for that water park, I don't think that you would be disappointed with the Coco Cay as long as you kind of just have that in mind. And
So what you mean is, even though you may not want to splurge the extra for the water park itself, there's still lots and lots to do.
I would say, yeah, just plan it, I guess, accordingly, and it's still a very nice island.
Yeah. Sure. How about you, Josee? I know your son's younger, so did he go on the water slides?
Well, I had seen the Black Friday sale, and the sale, I think it was like $120 US or $150. Like, it's expensive.
Okay.
So if you do decide to do the water slide, book it when it's on sale, because when it's not, I think it's $200 US per person.
Okay.
And I think kids are even more than adults.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it's
it's odd. Yep.
So I had read that it was more for older kids, and I don't necessarily like slides, so we opted not to go this time.
Okay.
And it was our first stop, and we had gotten late to the boat the day before, which don't recommend. Go on the boat early, but anyways, personal circumstances. So the next day, we kind of spent the morning going on the slides and on the boat. So but by the time we went to Coco Cay maybe at 11, I didn't realize how much stuff there was to do if you're not in the park. So there's like 3 large beaches, with all the activities. There's a big pool with lots of bar. Like the pool's probably like 2 or 3 kilometers for sure. That you didn't go.
I didn't really experience that. I guess I have to go again.
There's so many things to do there.
Yes, there's like a water park for kids. There's a pirate ship.
There's a wave pool. My youngest did.
Yes, we ended up spending like 5-6 hours there, where initially I thought, we're the only ones that didn't pay for the water park. There won't be much to do, but it was probably next time I'll try the water slide when he's older, but I'd read it was the height he didn't meet for a lot of it, so
there's no point really, if that's the case. So I think I read somewhere, but maybe you guys know, is there a section on Coco Cay for adults?
I don't.
You can rent cabanas and
yes, but I don't think there's adult only.
I don't think there's adult only.
No, okay.
I'd have to research that.
Well, it's definitely a question for me to find the answer, because I thought I had seen that somewhere, but perhaps not. Perhaps not.
And there's a lot of restaurants that are free. Like
that's
a lot of food. A lot of food.
A lot of food.
And that's one thing that I actually enjoyed. But when we go at private islands and all that, obviously, anytime you go off at whatever destination, you kind of want to factor in the extra cost of, because you've already kind of paid it for on the ships. But this, I did really like the buffet style. Like, they still had a lot of options. So sometimes you kind of have to watch that, because obviously they have to plan all of that. And bring or ship whatever they need during that time. So I actually, comparable was really nice, and they didn't have a lot of options.
Okay, cool. So obviously these ships have a lot of people. So the Oasis class have on average 6,600 passengers. So it's a lot of people. Even though the ship is huge, it's still a lot of people, because that's just the passengers, does not include the crew. How did you feel? Did you feel that there was a lot of people?
I'm going to be honest on this one.
Of course.
I've been on a few different cruises. And I don't know if it was because of the time of year, and I think we do have to check that. For us, I think it was Easter time. We did feel it quite busy.
Okay.
I've always said you can always find a quiet spot or whatever you want or need on a cruise ship. But we did feel, especially the kids, wanted to go obviously on water slides or flow riders. Like, the wait was longer than we would have liked, and I mean, it is what it is. And I think as you cruise or experience, you kind of get to you compare a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we were still okay, and I still definitely do it again, but we did find it a little bit busier than the past cruises that we've been on. Although, actually, Josee, I don't think that was your experience.
Well, I think because it's advertised as the biggest ship in the world, my expectation was that it was going to be super crowded.
Right.
So I didn't feel it was
so he did the
as
opposite
crowded
for you.
as I thought. But I know you can read, when you research ship, it tells you the size and the people they accommodate. So sometimes you can have a mid-sized ship that it tells the space. So
right.
It doesn't mean because there's 7,000 people that it's more crowded than another ship that's only 5,000.
Right.
But personally, Wonder of the Sea, and it was barge break. I'm pretty sure it was full capacity. I didn't necessarily wait in line. I didn't think it was overcrowded, but maybe it was just my expectation, and I'm more of an extrovert, so I love people. So.
Yeah. Well, I did hear, I had clients who went on Wonder of the Sea at Christmas time, and they also mentioned because they had a teenager, the waiting in line for the flow rider and some of the slides were long. Of course, the flow rider, is it one or two at a time?
Maybe, one or
two. And you can't just give them 30 seconds, I assume. So it's normal that it would take some time to get on. So, okay. So I was just wondering, what did you find about service, the food and the staff?
I always really enjoy, again, Royal Caribbean, did very well, especially, it's a few years kind of after pandemic. I know that some may be either tired, or there's all sorts of different kind of protocols, but generally our staff was really, really good. Loved our waiter at the main dining room, really, really friendly, anything again, clean. And overall, I've never had really a bad experience. No. And again, that's maybe my, either expectations but overall, definitely pro on that. No negative comments for sure.
Yeah. What about you?
I agree.
Same thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I really recommend or love the assigned dining. Mm-hmm. They give you a maybe 15-minute window. If sometimes I run a little late on the early dining with kids. But, they know what you like to order. Yeah. They know, we went at around 5. They know we like to leave at 6. So as soon as my son would sit down, they already had his meal. Everything just, they know you. They know your style.
Yeah, it does have each type of dining has its pros, its cons. But assigned dining, especially I don't like to eat at 8. I find it's too late. But the early dining... Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you just want to skip one night and go to the buffet or go to tacos, we would just tell them as a courtesy, but they don't, you're not
insulting them.
Exactly. And the next night they'll welcome you and...
Yeah. Oh,
and
cool.
one thing, if I can share that, I know I had heard or read from somewhere else, is a lot of crew come from a lot of different places. And we actually try to take the opportunity to educate, I guess, our kids, or learning opportunities. So we try to learn a little bit from their culture and talk to them, and often learn words in their language. So we learn, I don't even remember what it was, but how to say, thank you or have a good night in whatever language. So I think that's cute and kind of creates a kind of a connection with your
yes, of course. What a great idea. Great idea. So if some of the listeners are thinking of booking a cruise with Royal Caribbean or anybody else, I guess, do you have any tips for them? Either about, the booking process or once they get on board?
Obviously, well, I'll recommend working with a travel agent. But I'd say just do a little bit of research, or obviously have your travel agent do it. Look at what you would like out of a vacation and search just if that ship you believe will meet that. I've gone on other types of cruises. For example, my husband and I, not looking at all for the same types of things on the cruise ship itself. I do love, again, different itineraries or stops, but really try to find a ship that will meet what you're looking for. Especially if you have kids, I do find, or in general, that you want to try to have stuff that will kind of keep them busy or, entertain. So obviously when we travel with kids, we look for that type of stuff on the ship.
Good advice. Good advice. What about you, Josee?
Well, I love Royal Caribbean. So one thing that they have too is like the app.
Yep.
And then you can book show in advance on the app. One thing I didn't realize is there was a few shows I couldn't get at 7 and I had booked at 9, but thought I probably wouldn't go, or just a few of us. But then when I got on the ship, they had all these new availability, so I was able to switch like all the shows, so that was great. When you book in advance, you can, often they have like price guaranteed, so they'll adjust your price. What else? I guess to bring on the ship, one thing I'd forgotten once was like a water bottle is really important, because when you go out, always bring cash, because when you stop at small islands, they don't necessarily have an ATM, or like in St. Thomas, I was telling Tania, like last time I'd gone, it was $5 to go to the beach, and the beach was free. This time it was $15 one way.
Inflation.
So I brought, like, I had $100 and I came back with $5 left. Like I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be a $50 day. So just to have some cash for small islands, because a lot of things are cash only and they don't necessarily have a. But no, I love cruising. It's the best of.
Yeah, I've never met a cruise ship I didn't love. So. Not yet.
So really yet.
So to close off, when's your next cruise, or do you have one on the go?
Oh, we do. I forget where we're going. It actually isn't Royal Caribbean, but we are going to Europe. My husband and I, and actually my mom is joining us. We're going to Europe. Never been. And because we love cruising so much, we kind of tackled on a cruise to some of our land, or after our land visit, because while we're at it, why not? So
of course.
I really do love the experience of cruising. So
cool. So what cruise line is that with? MSC this time. Yep. All right. What about you, Josee? Where's the next cruise?
So Tania helped me because I had a hard time making a decision. So many great options, but we really wanted to leave from Port Canaveral again to do more stuff in Orlando the week before. So we're actually going to do Carnival with Mardi Gras.
The newest ship,
I think it's still very kid oriented, but I do have to, my son still has his Royal Caribbean bracelet from Wonder of the Sea, and if it was his choice, he wanted to do Wonder of the Sea again.
Right.
So if anybody, I would highly recommend that boat from Port Canaveral. And Icon seems amazing. Leaving from Miami, I just couldn't find good flights. For March break, couldn't seem to be able to get back to Mountain.
You'll get there one day.
So I'm hoping next year to do the Icon.
Or Utopia, which is coming out as well, right?
Yes, I saw that. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Lots of options. You never lack options when it comes to cruising. So I guess that's a wrap for tonight. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me about your cruising experience with Royal Caribbean. And I know you guys are big cruisers like I am. If you're thinking or not sure about if you want to do a cruise, please reach out to one of Viva's travel agents. They have lots of experience to help you make the best decision for you or your family. If you've already cruised before, please reach out to us to book your next one. Thank you so much. Viva Vacation!